your socks! Hey!
The Lost Art with Andrew Cox podcast, now streaming on all major podcast platforms. A Till Valhalla Project ambassador. Thanks for tuning in to the podcast that's given a voice to our veterans. The Lost Art with Andrew Cox. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Lost Art Podcast, that podcast giving a voice to our veterans. I'm your host, Andrew Cox, and today we're having a My Veteran Story. But before we get in the episode, are you enjoying the podcast? Make sure you go to the website. That's thelostart.podbean.com. Go check us out, see what we're all about. And if there's any way you can help support us, please do so. Also, a big shout out to the Till Valhalla Project out there doing amazing things. And I just want to thank them for allowing me to be an ambassador for that great organization. If you can help them out, please do so. Go to tillvalhallaproject.com. And if there's any Marines out there, the Marine Corps League, I just found out that I'm going to be an ambassador for them. So if you're out there, part of the Marine Corps League, go ahead and join that great organization. Same team, new mission. The Marine Corps League, a legacy of valor. Once a Marine, always a Marine. It's familiar to us all. It is that feeling you get when you see a Marine Corps sticker on a car or home proudly displaying the Marine Corps flag. We know we can knock on the door and that Marine will be there for us. Despite our many years of service to different causes, we all have that common bond. We have all earned the privilege to wear the eagle, globe, and anchor. The Marine Corps League is the only congressionally chartered Marine Corps veteran service organization, with detachments in 1,150 communities across the U.S. Please take a few minutes to check it out. Visit today at mcleague.org or email tribe@mcleague.org. All right, with that, I've got Shawn Seibert here. How you doing, Shawn?
I'm doing all right. Not bad.
Very nice, very nice. Marine veteran. I'm excited to hear your story. So it should be a good time. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, let's jump into it. We'll start at the beginning for you. Where did you grow up? Kind of give us a little bit about that, and then what led you into military service?
I grew up in Roseville, Michigan. Uh, I wanted the military as far as something different. Something to make me stronger. I guess more of a man. I got bullied at one point. I was a fat kid in high school. It gave me something to give me a little drive, a little more working out I had to do. Because I joined the Marine Corps in June 2000, so right after graduation from high school.
Okay. And then were you in the delayed entry program or you went right in?
Yeah, I was in delayed entry form for a few months, so every so often with PT. The pull-up bar they didn't tell me that when you get to boot camp, it's a lot longer and a lot different.
Yeah.
So my body weight dropped a lot more different. It's from hanging, so that made it a little more different.
Hmm.
So when I got to
Okay.
boot camp, I left. I got in the yellow footprints. It was June 21st, 2000. I end up the first week I failed the PFT test. So I spent 2 weeks in the PCP, which is, they nickname Pork Chop Platoon, but it's the
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
it's like for the physical thing. So because of that, I think about 2 weeks, I ended up being at boot camp for about 4 months because I had to go through the full
Okay.
once I completed going through be able to get the rundown and the 3 pull-ups, I went through the full 13 weeks again.
Yeah.
But since I already went through the receiving one, the first week they had me do guard duty in the barracks, which is boring as can be,
Yeah.
all the platoons words. But I went through it. Uh, it was a proud moment once I got done with it. It was
Yeah.
like a no crap moment because I realized I'm a Marine now, but crap, I still got so many years to deal with this. It's not
Yeah.
just it's one and done and it's over. It's
Yeah.
you still got a fulfillment to
Oh, yeah, that's
to
true.
do.
Yeah. Yeah. So what company were you with?
I was in boot camp. I think I ended up in 2082. I think that's second battalion.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Surprisingly, I think I was second time before that, but I don't remember offhand. But
Okay.
I believe that's the right number. I mean, I still got I got the Marine Corps book if need to be. I can always go
Yeah.
look at it. But
As a what was it, Fox Company, or do you remember?
um, I don't remember.
Okay. Yeah, it's no problem. No problem. So, what were some of the, I guess, the highlights of boot camp that you remember? What were some of the good points? What were some of maybe the low points?
Well, it I was open minded about it, so I mean, it wasn't like what to expect. I just went openly because I didn't know what to expect. So I
Right.
accepted everything as was. Um, excuse me. I didn't really always get upset like there, so they had to learn to try to put more intensity in me for when we did drilling.
Mm,
Well, the right when they did the rifle maneuvers, basically for the whole, they want that instant like intention or
right. Right.
they just had to spend a little more time working on me on that, figure out
Yeah.
what could drive me. But I got through that. I could say I learned to skate in boot camp. Um, what I mean by
Yeah.
that is near the end of it, they got to clean the barracks, and then they had this black stuff. I forget what it's called, but they had I think it was for the boots or the shoes. I don't remember what it was, but they had to paint the black lines on the floor on the deck.
Mm,
Um, but before that, they had to clean the squad base. So the DIs will actually fill up one of those big silver garbage cans of water, pour it down the
hmm
thing, and we had to scrub the floor. Well, I didn't want to get my hands and knees, so I took two boot brushes. I boot band them to my boots, and I started scrubbing the floor that way. So
Nice.
that's how I learned
So
it,
you
I
were kind of
guess.
skating on the floor.
I was kind of yes because the fact is they still had us iron so often I didn't want because when I went in the camis were the green and the brown so we actually had to iron them.
Yeah. Yeah. The old
So to
tricolor.
the
Yeah.
points I didn't want to ruin it because then what I'm get my ass chewed for ruin my uniform.
Yeah.
So I mean that was kind of interesting. I actually got to see my mom after a few months, which is interesting because somehow this was before cell phones.
hmm
Like
Oh, yeah.
literally, when I went 2000, this was before actually everyone had a cell phone. So it's not like I could call and say, "Hey, where to meet." I ended up going to because I went to Paris Island. I
hmm
went down to I guess there's this little. I walked to this little information building or whatever, and which is weird. Before I walked out, my aunt walked in. So
Oh,
they
wow.
actually I got to meet up with them. I thought that was weird. Um, and the thing also on the Parents' Day, that's the real day. I mean, we had to be in our dress blues.
hmm
Um, I actually got to look in the mirror a little bit myself, but I didn't really pay attention
hmm
until I went back to after we graduate, had the ceremony, went back to the hotel, and I remember putting a towel around me and I started shouting, "I'm skinny, I'm skinny." Because I was probably like 230, 240 pounds before I left for boot camp.
Yeah.
And I got down to almost like 200 or 210.
Wow. That's good.
Uh, but I think I lost weight in the PCP, and then the smallest I was like 147 pounds. So
Whoa.
I was small, yes. So it was kind of weird being that small. I mean, I'm never gonna see it again. I never seen it really since.
Yeah.
Um, but that's because, high demand, constantly moving, constantly doing a lot of
Oh, yeah.
stuff, you know.
Kind of shocks your body and everything with that, and it causes a dramatic weight loss.
Yeah, it was. I mean, lucky enough I was able to maintain like around 180, 185,
hmm
because through the fleet, PT and
Yeah,
stuff like that, through the time.
very
So I
nice.
mean, it
Now,
wasn't too bad. I mean, yeah, I do miss the fact is, the chow hall ain't gotta cook, could get salad, food, whatever. I
yeah,
mean, it was kind of nice.
yeah, for sure. Now, what job did you enlist to do?
Um, I wanted to go into computers, but they put me as a radio operator, so I went to 29
Hmm.
Palms
Oh, the wonderful
um
29. Yeah.
to do actually I mean, back then there was a movie theater, there was a Taco Bell,
Hmm.
and then that was about it. I didn't really leave base. I didn't, went to between the schooling, the barracks, the PX and chow hall and
Yeah.
classes. I mean, I really didn't do much.
Now, did you ever go to the enlisted club? There was an enlisted club there that
No,
had food and
I
stuff
didn't.
like that
I
too.
probably heard about it, but I never really
Yeah,
went to it.
very cool. So you were there, what, into 2000?
I was, mm, I want to say somewhere between December. Maybe, I know it's at least January 2001.
Okay.
Because at least November 2000, I was just finishing up with Camp Geiger for
Hmm.
MCT. And the reason I remember that because they were doing the Marine Corps birthday stuff and there was units running.
Oh
And at
yeah.
the time, I didn't know what was going on because up until that point, we never really celebrate the Marine Corps birthday. Because
Hmm.
just learned it boot camp. This is a few months later.
Yeah.
So
Now, did they do a celebration or anything while you were there for the birthday?
no, they for MCT they really didn't do. It's like we're completely detached.
Yeah.
Whatever they were doing. I think the day we were set out to leave for, I believe our duties or our next phase. Um, I think to go to our school, they didn't really have us do nothing because 'cause I guess a lot of units were on a PT run and then they got off for the weekend or something. I don't know what's going on, but
Yeah. Yeah, for the ball, probably. They probably had a birthday ball at some point around then.
they might have. I don't know what Camp Geiger did at the time.
Yeah. Interesting.
So
So at 29 Palms, if you were there in 2000, I was there during that time. I was with the band, the Marine band there.
okay. I actually got to visit 29 Palms later on too in the career. I didn't realize I'd make it back there, but
Yeah.
I ended up doing.
Yeah, I enjoyed 29 Palms. I thought it was nice. It did get warm, but other than that, it was nice. Um, but I like the desert, so it's all good.
It was different doing the PT on the sand though versus
Yeah,
used to.
that's true.
So
So, so how was the schoolhouse for you? Did you, because you said you were a radio operator
I was a radio
or
operator.
operator? Okay.
The only thing different is when I went through the radio operator, the school, they do the whole fingerprint, the security clearance. They also had
Hmm.
a phase on there where we're supposed to, I guess, qualify to drive the Humvee for a little while. But I didn't have my
Mm.
driver's license at the time, so technically I couldn't do that part.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So which actually saved me um when I got to the fleet a little bit. Um It's just a story I remember because one day they didn't teach us that once you get to the unit, don't open your doors on the weekends. No one told you
Mm.
that, for the
Yeah.
hard day. But one day someone knocked on the door when I was with my unit when I was because I got well after school I got attached to Bravo 110 10th Marines in
Oh,
North
yeah.
Carolina. So
Okay.
basically I went from California to North Carolina.
Hmm.
Um, after I got settled in my unit, Uh, one of the first weekends after I got settled in, after they actually put me in the barracks with the roommates, um, somebody knocked on my door on Saturday and said, "Congratulations, you have duty driver." I was like, "What? What the fuck?" But I was like, "I don't even have a license." Well, then tell your roommate you got duty driver. He was pissed. So he hurry up. He got changed. Um, he came back to the room. I guess he said he had to grab something or was sick. He downed like a bottle of NyQuil to say
Oh,
he was
geez.
sick. Um, to make him tired because you can't drive if you're tired.
Yeah.
So because of that, he got out of being duty driver. Um, he pretty much passed out for a couple hours after he got back and changed, and then he went off on the weekend to do whatever.
Wow.
I was like, well, that's kind of clever, I guess. So,
I don't know.
so
Drinking
getting mad
NyQuil.
with
Whew.
so I mean, I guess he got mad over from being mad at me, but I
Yeah.
didn't know. After
Yeah,
then, I
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
answer my door at all.
Yeah.
So learned
That's
the hard way.
that they always get you somehow, some way, don't they?
Yeah, I believe so, but you know, I guess that's how
So,
they say, the boots got to learn.
yeah. So talk to me about showing up 110. So you're showing up 10th Marines. Kind of like where was your mind at that point? I mean, were you excited? Were you scared? Like what was going through your mind?
I didn't know what to expect, honestly. I knew we'd be doing our job. I met a few people,
Hmm.
the transition, people leave, people come. Uh, at first it was kind of nice. Making friends with people, hanging out with them, walking around, talking. Um, until basically I had one of my first field ops. Then um I don't remember much before. I remember in this field op, we had one of those. We had the Humvee, and then we had a little, I think 13-foot, 12-foot, whatever small little trailer is. We stored all our
Hmm.
con gear plus our gear for the field.
Yeah.
Well, we had a few times we had to hurry up and pack up. Well, I was stupid enough. I didn't actually pack like my sleeping bag
Mm.
into the bag into the backpack. I know there's a special
Hmm.
name for it, but I'm not.
You're talking about the
It's
Molly
slipping
gear?
my mind right now. Um, but I end up just throwing part of my sleeping bag in a certain corner uh of the trailer.
Hmm.
I found out sometime later it was missing. Somehow at some
Oh
point
no.
somebody stole some of my gear. I found
Yeah.
like two of the three things. And I'm like, shit, the Gore-Tex is missing. What the? I was pissed.
Yeah.
So
And they're not
I
cheap
mean,
either.
yes, I learned to pack my stuff more, but it would have been different. I never found out who stole nothing. I haven't made an announcement to find out who was the issue because it bothered me sometime later. It'd be different if the staff sergeant or something was, teach me a lesson and then gave it back to later. Say,
Yeah.
look, you got to pack your shit up. But it was nothing like that. First time with all these guys, you get the whole model that they're supposed to have you back, and my shit got
Hmm.
stolen.
Yeah. What do they
So
say?
I mean,
And I've heard
it,
this
it, it
thousands
gave
of
me a
times.
rough feel you know, to trust people that's supposed to have my back.
Yeah. It's they always say gear adrift is a gift, is what I was always told. And I always
Now,
would say,
even if
you
that
know what?
was, no one said nothing. That would have been, at least I knew. Fuck. But the fact is, or somebody said, "Hey, I took your stuff, $20, you get it back." Lesson learned. No, it was
Yeah.
nothing of no box. So I had to, you
Hmm.
know, buy it off someone from PX or something. I had to
Yeah.
acquire it because every time they did the gear inspection, they always check
Yeah.
those,
That's right. And
before I went to
and
the field.
I would always tell people that gear adrift is not a gift. It is somebody else's gear, and you need to give it back to them. I mean, they teach you in boot camp. You're supposed to, honor, courage, commitment, those types of things. And then here you are, you're just taking your buddy's stuff. It's not right. And but people do it. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we spent a lot of time in the field though, between training in the backyard of CAX, or not of CAX, backyard of Camp Lejeune
Yeah.
to eventually went to CAX, which is
Hmm.
in California. We did do some training in Fort Bragg in the woods.
Okay. Very nice.
So between artillery, we had to either stop firing for when the air wind was dropping, or they
Mm.
had to hold off the one we were firing. It was interesting to learn.
Hmm.
Um, so
Now, because you were a radio man for them, so kind of what, in a nutshell, kind of what were you doing as a radio man during the
as a
times?
radio man, we'd set up the OE antenna, which I think was 24, 26 feet high. Um, we actually did them when we were out in California in Caxton Desert. They had us doing, and they made a game out like two-man teams in a drill. How fast can we get that thing up in the line ran?
With two men?
And they made learn it like it was learning was kind of a little interesting.
Yeah,
In the woods, it's a little harder to do it like that because you got more
yeah.
stuff in the way, and you got to watch the the branches and stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
it was interesting.
Very cool. Huh. Now, now, did you spend all your time with 10th Marines, or did you go somewhere else, or was that it with 10th
Um,
Marines?
I was with 10th Marines. I was with I was with Bravo and 10 up till late 2002, and I'll build up to that.
Okay.
We did I think in 2002 we did a double winter. We went to a double winter training. We went to Bridgeport, California for cold weather
Mm,
training, and then which we learned to ski. We had to ski with the snowshoes on, or not snowshoes. Well, we had snowshoes, I believe. Uh, we had the grips on the skis, so we can learn to walk with them. I think we had a march down there, or at a march, and then following that, we went to Norway in
oh wow.
February,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, for 2002. So that was kind of interesting. It sucked because one of the guys on unit in Norway, their tent got burned down. I don't know how or why. Um,
Wow.
yeah, it
Oh.
was messed up how that happened.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, learned cold weather training, especially for California or Bridgeport. Um, any because we had to melt snow. Anything with pines in it makes the snow taste nasty when you melt it because you get that pine taste.
Mm, yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
some actually had the actual extreme where they had to hunt a rabbit. For us, we
Oh
just had
wow.
to
Yeah.
live in a snow cave for I think a week. Um, the barracks was when we got back when we were in the field was almost like squad base. They had toilets
Yeah.
with no, basically it was like in the U, no privacy. The showers were open, but
The
by
old
then
boot
it's
camp
like it was
style
just an
stuff.
everyday thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Very
So,
cool. Now, how that experience doing Bridgeport and then also Norway, like, what were some of the highlights that you saw in that? What was some of the cool things?
Norway was, I mean, I got I think I got a ride in one of their snow vehicles. It was like
Mm,
almost like an ATV, but I guess it's smaller or something. Got to talk to a Norwegian for a little bit, so got to learn a little bit about, they're reading on a different hand. Um, for their marriage, their
mm,
military is different, the way their uniform is and everything like that.
yeah. So
Um,
you were with the Norwegians while you were out there.
at one point, yeah, we were training
Yeah.
with them or we crossed over with them. Um, I'll remember. I do remember getting a ride with one of them. Well, the group I was with, but I'm a
Yeah.
part of my unit. But that's about it. I mean, I don't remember a whole lot. I mean, we did have, I think, like a 12 hours of liberty. So we at one
Oh
day, so
wow.
we had to go out of town and stuff like that. They gave us the warning: if you're underage, don't drink.
Yeah,
Stick
yeah.
to the American rules. You know,
Very cool. Now, how was that for you? Like, did you, as far as seeing their culture and stuff like that, was there something that stood
it
out
was
to you?
interesting to learn something different. That's the first time I seen um uh first time I seen same sex relationships because I'd
Oh
see
wow.
like they were more open, like a
Mm-hmm.
girl and girl holding hands and kissing and stuff like that. They were more. It was the first time I seen them more open because usually by
Mm-hmm.
then, 2001, it was more of a closed door hush hush type of deal. It wasn't as
Right.
open as it compared to now. So it was different, but it was like, hey, well, that's the way they are.
Yeah. 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 For sure. Wow. Very cool.
You
So after Norway, then, where all did you go and what'd you do?
Um, went to Norway. After Norway, a few months later, which kind of messed up, which it changed everything. I got um uh well, I went home I think one of the months for either my grandma or my aunt passed, I think like April or May. That basically both of them passed a month and a month apart. They wouldn't let me go home. They let me go home for one, but they wouldn't let me go home for the other one. Um,
Yeah.
which was kind of bad. Is shortly after that, I think near end of June, I got in a car accident.
Mm.
Um, which I found out. Uh, I fractured 6 ribs. Three in the front, three in
Oof.
the back, my left side. They had to use the jaws of life to apparently get me out. I didn't know what happened. I was unconscious for a week.
Yeah.
Uh, I woke up in the hospital. I thought I was home because my mom was sitting there. I remember going down, I guess I was going down the hallway, and I woke up and I started pulling tubes off me because it was like a Freddy Krueger nightmare.
Oh yeah.
Um, but that ended up being a bit of a changing thing because shortly after that, after after my car accident, I found out somebody close to me got sexually assaulted.
Mm.
They got touched. They were only, let's see, 2002. They're only 10 years old.
Oh yeah.
I made a choice to be there for them. Um, my command wouldn't let me go home.
Hmm.
So I made my own, I went home on my own.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, in a sense, I basically went UA for a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, because it was basically one family member touched another family member.
Oh,
Basically,
I
an adult
see.
touched a
Yeah.
minor. So I went to try to be there for the support the minor because she was close to me. And, I was home almost close to 30 days or close to it. So I went back to the unit. I reported back. In that time, they had discipline action me for doing that.
Hmm.
Uh, so because of that, I went from an Alliance Corporal to a private. I was sentenced 30 days to the brig.
Oh wow.
I ended up doing, and this was in uh Camp June. I
Hmm.
ended up doing 25 days for good behavior. It sucked because, every so often they do strip search you. So, they get,
Mm.
look at my tiny winky. Um, but it sucked. But I chose family over Marine Corps.
Yeah.
When I came back, I went from being in Bravo 110 to Headquarters 110.
Okay.
They switched me. Um, because of that, I might have lost my security clearance because I went UA and went to the brig.
Right.
So therefore, I was still with communication and headquarters side because that was still my job billet.
Hmm.
Now this is after uh I was in the brig. This would put me near the end of 2002.
Okay.
Come January 2003, I found out I was advance party to go over Iraq because it was rumored that we were going. I
Hmm.
was like, what the fuck? Like, no one told me. I
Oh
didn't know
wow.
why. All I knew I was going to be detached. I had
Hmm.
no clue what was going on. So I had to figure a way to kind of get all my stuff stored up. I trusted somebody that I worked with because he had a house. No one be told. I found out afterwards I had some CDs stolen. Like, fucking
Mm.
people. But I was the advance party to go on ship to be working the mess hall.
Okay.
So I went basically to help serve food, do whatever
Hmm.
on the way over Iraq. So I was with my unit, like I slept in the same berthing area, but I didn't do nothing with them. I
Oh,
was
I see.
required to they only required me to work out for an hour a day.
Yeah.
So
So you
other
basically
than
did mess
I
all
did the
day
mess,
long, and then.
I had some sleep, had to work out, got some sleep because the mess was like 2, 3 in the morning and something like that. It
Hmm.
was some early, might have been 4, but yeah, it was some early ass morning thing. Then serve. I think I'd get a little bit off because I wasn't a cook. I was like help serving
Hmm.
between like lunch or dinner or however they split us, or I did breakfast and lunch. I don't remember, um, but yeah. So we got there. We got there back. I ended up And we got there, I think about March. We landed somewhere in March. We got to Kuwait.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, I believe so. Um, I think somewhere in April. I used to remember the exact dates offhand. I can't recall them.
That's all right.
But we were sitting in the border at one after going through training and dealing with it. We were sitting at the border like the day before or the day of when the bombing started. We were like, I think level 2 mock gear,
Oh
NBC
yeah.
gear with the pants.
Hmm.
We had the tops. We were allowed to take them off because we were just stationed. We had to keep our gas masks, hooked to us.
Right.
So we ended up going over. Uh, uh, my
And
area,
this is,
possible.
correct me if I'm
Huh?
wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. You're talking about the initial push into Baghdad or into Iraq. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, we went in
Okay.
early 2003.
Yeah.
Um, whereas I was with headquarters, so wherever headquarters went, because the batteries were the ones that went out to, you know, do what they need to, level the buildings.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But no way in how, and I wasn't even on the radio. They put me behind a 50 cal. I was doing 50 cal watch.
Oh wow.
Um, at one point from Kuwait, I was detached to do a watch to um they send a few of us to the ammo depot to do rounds or
Hmm.
do, which is weird though. At one point, uh, I didn't have no rounds with me, so they had me when they had me within at the ammo depot to do a few days, a week of that before we actually got crossed over sitting in Kuwait. They had me in quick action before, so I'm like, how am I supposed to respond? I don't have no rounds, so it kind of troubled
Oh
them
God.
because this is shortly after I got back. The brig got to the unit. They were trying to figure out,
Yeah.
hey, I'm here. Um, trying to figure out what to do with me.
Hmm.
Because I didn't get discharged. I still served my time. They probably could have.
Yeah.
Um, but I went through that. What sucks, our unit lost some people.
Hmm.
Um, and I knew of the guys, the two that did at least. One was a lieutenant. It was a four observer, and one was a warrant officer that was with MOT, which is weird because I just seen that guy a couple hours before the incident. He
Oh
was sitting
wow.
in a section. He was just chilling. I guess they took a ride out somewhere. And the story I was told, somebody played with an RPG. They found a abandoned search of it. We were told not to touch nothing, nothing foreign.
Yeah.
But apparently somebody decided to go woohoo and fire RPG or whatever they were playing with. I just heard the story. Um, I think somebody lost their fingers. I think somebody might got some damage, and the warrant officer lost his life.
Wow.
Um, so as far as the story, what happened, I don't know. Um, which actually fucked me up to this day
Hmm.
is I was one of the few people, I think there's four of us, that helped move the warrant officer's body. I seen it a little fucked
Mm.
up. I like
Yeah.
because they had a poncho over, but the poncho kind of blew a little bit, and I got to see part of his body all jacked up and mingled or whatever. It
Yeah.
was it didn't bother me at the time because it was that, but it's something that bothered me later,
Yeah.
which
Yeah. Yeah. For
sucks.
sure.
Um, and then the another factor later is like I just seen this guy a couple hours ago. What the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
Didn't find out, the story didn't find out too much later, but you
Hmm.
know, it was just one of those things that it was like, what the hell?
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Because I helped carry him from, I think they heloed him or they brought him back on the Humvee, carried him from the Humvee to a helicopter or some kind of plane. I think it was a helicopter, and then that was it. And then um,
Yeah. Yeah.
the truck got sprayed out. I don't know what happened to or all who got, like the names, because like I said, it was a motor T warrant officer.
Yeah.
And it was either motor T or it was some of the gun people that got hurt. I don't know exactly,
Hmm.
but it was, yeah, it kind of sucked.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's never
Um,
a good day to see something like that. And I don't know, for me, it plays tricks on you in your mind and stuff like that, when you think about it or what have you, later on. It could definitely mess with you for sure.
But yeah, when I was over there, I didn't worry about if someone had my back or not because I was just hoping for the best. Because
Yeah,
I made peace with myself to either came down to it, I'm gonna go out, die fighting, or if it's my time, my time. Because
right.
certain areas got hit, so
Hmm.
I'm not sure if our paws got hit on or not, or someone had misfire. I don't know because it was nowhere near me. But
Yeah.
it was weird though, because for most part they had a bulldozer that was for anywhere we're stationed actually push up sand to, basically make the walls.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because they were just temporary holding areas for like a few weeks if need to be.
Hmm.
So,
Now,
which
and
is kind of
sorry, go ahead.
which kind of interesting because being that I got used to of because going to the desert in the heat, it went from being the point that normally like, oh crap, this is gonna suck. Yeah, it kind of did, but lucky enough before that, our unit we went to CAX, which is
Yeah.
um basic combining exercise
Hmm.
out in California, which my unit did in 2001. We went there August, I think around August, because we are coming back around September, which sucked too. But we got an idea of the desert, a little bit of dust
Hmm.
storms, but nothing like what I sat in Iraq. I sat on a uh ammo watch for like 6 to 8 hours in a dust storm. That shit sucked, especially
Wow.
when you
Oh,
couldn't see
that
in front
that
of
was the
you.
big one. Because there
Um,
was one really big storm out there, if I'm not mistaken. So that
I
was
don't
probably
know.
the
I know
big
one of
one.
them I was sitting in. Um, which is weird. The dude I was sitting with kind of reminded me of the guy because he looked almost like, which it if I had cell phones, probably get his contact information. But he reminds me of like he looked similar to the guy that played the T-1000 from Terminator. He had a similar
Really?
look to it. Yeah, yeah. I thought it was like weird as heck. Um,
Yeah.
but CAX, I guess I was detached from the unit, so I got to do road guard. And
Hmm.
because we worked, I think like 24 hours, we were off for 24 hours. So I got to go 29 Palms again and go see Taco Bell. That was like the
Yeah.
highlight. Um, which is surprisingly, we had to go with the buddy,
Hmm.
the buddy program. They had us go
Yeah.
and go away, please. Go back in there. Yeah, why? Just go back in there for about 10 minutes. Um, End up meeting because we are sitting at a bench. I remember sitting at a bench in front of Taco Bell. Actually, I did have cell phones then. It's just they weren't as roaming was pain in the ass because I had expensive cell phone bill.
Hmm.
Um
Especially when they first started coming out, it was ridiculous. The roaming
um
charges and all the other kind of stuff.
um well yeah, because when we went over Iraq, we had to turn them off. Like
Hmm.
suspend the phone because we were doing deployed. They didn't have no overseas or international shit like that. Um so I really didn't have a cell phone with me. But for California I did. And the guy I was buddy with, he was talking to this girl. Apparently she
Hmm.
was working at Taco Bell. Well, I ended up talking to her.
Okay.
I got her number, and I knew later because I talked to her one night that I had a expensive bill, so I knew roaming charges were high.
Hmm.
Um, which is crazy enough. I found out she ended up working on the beer tent over on the CAC side, so I
Hmm.
got to go. I found her and hung out with her because she told me about that. Um, which is also interesting. As I had to tell my nephew to go away. As I found out, you know, I ended up hooking up with her. Me and her had sex. She took me
Yeah.
in a car. She went down a back road. Well, she went to the gas station to get condoms. She went down the
Yeah.
back road. It was weird because she had her top off and she sat there with the arms crossed. There was a cop car at the end of the car just sitting there at the beginning of the road. We're like way down on a dirt road. I mean,
Yeah.
she knew the area. Um, she was worried about that, but yeah, done in a car, which is weird. You know, it was my first time ever. So I
Yeah.
was like fucking clueless. Um, which, I woke up the next morning like, wow, I had sex. It was, it was like, okay. But what
Yeah.
threw me
Yeah.
off is when we drove back on base for CAX, so she dropped me off, she
Mm-hmm.
got saluted by MPs.
Uh-oh.
And I asked her, what's that all about? It's like, oh, my dad's a lieutenant or colonel or whatever. He runs the I think it was like 29 Palms or whatever. What was it? The hospital.
Oh no.
She was an officer's daughter, yes.
Oh, good times.
Um, which is like, what the fuck? Somehow, eventually, um, I think a day or two afterwards, I took one of the guys to the beer tent, or no, before I bought him a beer at the beer tent, to show, hey, this is, to get their opinion, if she's cute before I did anything.
Yeah.
Somehow after we got back, my first sergeant found that I got laid. He gave me shit for it when I was with Bravo 110.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't tell him it was officer's daughter or what her name was or nothing like that.
Right.
Um, but which is the weird point, the day we were supposed to fly back, it was like 6 in the morning, 5, 6 in the morning, California time. It was actually September 11th, 2001. We're supposed to fly back.
Oh, no kidding. Wow.
I heard I had a little AM/FM radio. I think it was an MP3 player too at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I actually heard about the planes crash and I thought it was some kind of skit story
Yeah.
in California because I was picking up a local radio and I thought, hey, they had one of those like how they did World of the Warts. War
Yeah.
of the
Yeah. Yeah.
Worlds. It was just a story or something. Um, but after a while, I think the battalion sergeant major or somebody came out, or battalion first or whatever, and they said we ain't going anywhere for a little while.
Yeah.
So they had us in there for I think 2 or 3 days. We were, I guess, some abandoned Air Force base that were in the barracks.
Mm-hmm.
Which sucked is we only had our go bags with us. All our main stuff was on the plane. All our
Oh,
towels,
wow.
our shower stuff,
Mm-hmm.
all our change of clothes. So they had somebody in the unit bought us towels and shampoo, soap, stuff like that, so we can at least shower.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, we were
Now
there for
how
3 days before we found back.
oh, you were there for 3 days before you got
Yeah, we're about
flown
about
out?
three
Yeah.
days.
Wow. That's crazy because you were literally there the same time I was because I was there when all that went down.
Yeah, it was. And the thing is, I didn't know the ordeal what happened because they
Mm-hmm.
just said it to us, and then we were just kind of like almost running loose for like 3 days.
Yeah.
I mean, they had a accountability like at night, make sure everyone was still there and no one got in trouble. But other than that, hell, I think some of the higher ups, I don't know which ones, they bought 30 packs of beer. They were gonna
Mm-hmm.
give two to everyone. They didn't care
Oh,
if you're
wow.
underage or not. They didn't care. I didn't drink, so I gave mine to one of the guys. Um, but that was kind of interesting, you know.
Yeah. That is interesting. Wow.
So
So when
yeah,
you
so I was
were
stuck.
so it took I mean so that was 2001 September 2001. So it took about 6 or 7 months before you deployed, is that right?
Um, let's see, we came back September 2001, and yeah, we had a few months. I don't know if we did any backyard field ops, but yeah, because I think the rumor was the reason we were going to um and I went again in 2004 with headquarters to
Okay.
I don't know if we did Norway, but I remember we went to Bridgeport, California. But the rumor was they were getting us ready for Afghanistan.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So it was all talk. So it's like after that we came back, we did training, other than my mishaps later in the year, I didn't know what the fuck was going on,
Yeah.
After I did my time for the brig and then realized advanced party, then that's when, oh shit, what the hell just happened?
Right. Yeah, yeah.
Um, but from the stuff over there, it just and the experience in the Marine Corps, it made me hard to really trust people after some of the
Yeah.
stuff went through. Um, some of even seeing the warrant officer, that shit still haunted me for a while.
Oh
Or the
yeah.
chance that, one moment you can, be doing your job and then a few hours later, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Absolutely.
so on the way back, actually, when we were coming on the way back, because I think it was like 5 weeks there on ship, and because I was on the USS Saipan, I looked it up.
Okay.
I think they decommissioned it or they ported it, or it's not in working order no more. Um,
Okay.
but we went there on the way back. I actually picked up. I got promoted to PFC, which was to me was like no big deal. Um, on the way back, we got like 3 days libo in Spain, which was kind of nice.
Okay.
Um, I actually read about their cultures, so I didn't have to learn disrespect any of them. I learned
Mm-hmm.
that from the books that are on ship that if you put your napkin on the I think on the plate, that's a disrespect that you didn't like the food. Like if you crumbled up, and
Oh yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
I didn't want to make sure I
Interesting.
offended, but I didn't really leave base. Hmm. So I mean I think I walked off base a little bit for a little walk. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Um I did hear stories about brothels being there. I heard
Mm-hmm.
stories about people visiting. I did hear a story about someone else maxing out their credit card. I think one Marine saved another one from cheating on his wife. But I never went out to one of them.
Yeah. And then so you spent 3 days in Spain and then jumped back on the ship and started heading back?
Well, yeah, because we were ported in Spain, so we got like
Mm-hmm.
so many hours during the day. We had to be back at a certain time.
Right.
Actually, in fact, they even made us buy collar shirts, so a lot of us end up having the same similar soccer shirts on.
Nice. Yeah, yeah.
Because they were like the only cheapest collar shirts in the store.
Right. That's funny.
So yeah, it was weird, but I mean, I had the shirt for a while. I think I still got it buried somewhere. It just don't fit me no more.
Yeah. Interesting.
Um, but after we got back, I was with headquarters. I was with our comm unit. Um, and then honestly, after that point, um, I still had after we got back, I still had like a year left of my contract.
Mm-hmm.
But at then I was at the point because I just picked up POC. I didn't give two shits because it's like okay, we went over there for mass destruction, the weapons of mass destruction. We didn't find shit.
Yeah.
We lost two people over somebody else's war.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I seen shit that I didn't want to see. I mean, because
Right.
it was basically training, but it was live. People got hurt,
Mm-hmm.
people got killed. Um, so I didn't really PT much. So before I got out, the first sergeant did paperwork, because I didn't meet Marine Corps standards.
Right.
SPFT, they took me from, PFC to private. I mean, regardless, I still got general discharge under honorable
Mm-hmm.
conditions. And then, it went to after 6 months later, it was honorable because I get VA benefits now.
Yeah.
But
Bless you.
at one point, I did miss it, and I did actually join the Army National Guard,
Oh, okay.
like July 2005.
And
Um,
how long did you spend in the National Guard?
cool. Um, up until I was doing the weekend warrior thing with them
Mm-hmm.
from July to 2005 to I think they were active to Fort Dix in late 2006.
Okay.
So I went through the training there. Um, went through the training. I started flashbacks. Like there's one moment we did something and I froze, or did something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the hell happened, either motions or what. I didn't move. So they put me through. I had to go see the shrink, psychiatrist, whoever they put me through.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they detached me from the unit because they're like I wasn't going. So, and which is the weird part is, um, they had me go through it. They had me sign off when I seen the JAG officer. It was like a
Mm-hmm.
lieutenant. I think it was a lieutenant. Well, Navy ranks a little different. Um, I asked him, do I have to go back to my unit? He told me no. I found out eventually later I probably would have because I stayed after I got done with them. Oh, damn it. I ended up staying in New Jersey for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up going to Philadelphia for a couple months. But I found out later, like many years later, that I did have a DD 214 from the National Guard that didn't get signed to January 2008. So apparently I still had a year of the contract left, but I
Wow.
never reported back to him.
Yeah.
So, but it's still honorable discharge. It just says, soldier wasn't here.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. So, and then you spent, how long was it in the, what you said reserves, right? Army Reserve?
Yeah.
Yeah. How long was that?
Um,
You just did one enlistment?
well, what it was is they took my 8-year contract with the Marine Corps, the inactive part, and they made it active
Hmm.
reserves.
Oh, I see.
Um,
Okay.
so that's what they did. Um, basically, I was only there for, after I think December of 2006, I got attached in January 2007. Um, after my money ran out, I had to figure out something to do. I ended up in a homeless shelter in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Well, actually, yeah, I had up being a homeless shelter for Philadelphia for one of the military programs to accept me into it in order
Okay.
to help, give place to rent or place to stay, do chores, get on their feet, certain guidelines, certain rules.
Right.
Um, but hell, I was still trying to figure myself out.
Hmm.
I was still, hard to trust people. I was, um, I wanted to feel something. Being by myself,
Hmm.
I didn't feel nothing. But which is fucked up is I got kicked out of that program after 6 months. I broke one of the rules because they had single mothers on the top floor. I
Hmm.
ended up sleeping with one of them for a little while. The program found out and they kicked me out. God dang it! But
Mm.
sex was my addiction for a little bit. I didn't
Yeah.
turn to drugs. I didn't turn to alcohol. It was just sex with females.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
or especially when they're
Everybody
fat kids out there. But
has a device of or a vice of some sort, you know?
it was, yeah, that followed me for a while, which was kind of crazy. But um, no, it still took me even years after that to still try to find myself, find somebody to settle down with.
Yeah.
Um, I thought I had that for a little bit, you know, but I kept still chasing the need for something.
Hmm.
End up having kids. Later on, I got married, met somebody to actually, I got medicine to help my ass calm down, keep my anger
Yeah.
away or bay, so I'm
That
not as crazy reckless. But I'm lucky enough, I never really broke the law. I never really, you know,
right. Yeah.
was totally abusive to women. I was bad. Yeah, I pushed to hold them against the wall and yell at them, but it wasn't, swinging at them or hurting them or beating them or,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
um,
But I mean, you obviously got help. Now, did you get help through the VA?
yeah, I got help through the
Yeah.
VA. I mean, even after at one point I went to college, I got a 4-year college. I got a degree in cybersecurity, a bachelor's, which sometimes I learned from job interviews. If you're too honest, they won't hire you.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Um, they didn't take me long. The word kind of worded a little differently.
Yeah. Hmm.
Like I had a job with HP or an interview with them for a job. One of the questions they asked me is, "Can you handle stress?" I was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I survived Iraq. No, I handled the stress of Iraq. I should be fine." Um, I found out 2 months later, HP blacklisted me.
Really?
What I mean by that is they had a recruiter contact me, take my resume. Hey, you meet the demands for what they need. They send me he was a recruiter for HP, like a third party staffing or something. And they said, yeah, you've been blasted. I said, like, wait, yeah, like your name pops up, they ain't gonna hire you. What the fuck? But yeah, that's what the recruiter told
Wow.
me. Yeah.
No kidding.
And I figure it's because of that one question.
Yeah. Could be. Yeah. Wow. Now once you learned that, like how did you move forward with it?
Um, I made a side hobby about, fixing people's computer that I knew or helping them out. After a while, I stopped looking for jobs because a lot of them want experience or they want certifications like
Mm,
C plus and networking. And basically, those are a bunch of tests. You
yeah.
pay a couple $100, you pass the test, you get certification. Um, I gave up the pursuit, honestly. I mean, I have the college degree, but I just gave up the pursuit. I was always, then after that, I just tried to work other jobs. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
doing a factory, you know, Amazon, FedEx, UPS, uh, worked for Honda.
Okay.
But some reason I still had a passion. I don't know. I wanted to drive trucks,
Yeah.
so I was chasing that for a while.
Like when you say drive
Lucky
trucks, you're
enough,
talking about semis, like
yes,
big rigs. Yeah.
yes. Lucky enough, um, because even with my VA rating, um, and which is lucky because the VA stuff on a side note is, I was lucky enough to get a house. I got the VA rating, so I was getting a disability from there, so that helped me survive a bit. I was able to get a house
Mm-hmm.
with no down payment, so got my own little peace and quiet. I was living in a
Very
trailer park for
nice.
6 years, and that had its moments.
Yeah. 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 I understand that. Yeah.
Um, One day when I found a pistol in my yard, 'cause some boyfriend got mad at his girl and threw it, and she was there next day or two, because I looked out of the side window and was like, "Can I help you?" And she explained to him, but she never found it. I found it the next day, and I turned it over to the police. Lucky enough, I was able to get qualified for a mortgage and the VA help. But yeah, I got out of there after that.
Yeah. For sure.
Um, which is kind of messed up. The day I moved, I still had some stuff left over. When I came back, like that day or the next day, the place got broken into. Like the door was broken.
No
I
kidding.
had a few TVs sitting there, but they didn't steal them. Uh, so I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Um, but even if so, even after, getting a house and doing the VA, I still needed more because, I got painted a pretty house. And after a while, find out it needs repairs,
All right.
needs new windows, a new roof,
Mm-hmm.
need the bathrooms redone. I mean, money that I don't have.
Yeah.
So I was trying to see, even with my rating, if I could work something. I found a way I was able to get my CDL Class A license.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I tried to work for one company. I had a few safety issues because I didn't like working under the pressure of the DOT clock.
Mm-hmm.
At night it was hard to park somewhere.
Yeah.
Um, finding truck stops at night before the time's running out. After a while they let me go. I found another one that was delivering soda.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I guess certain things, or I came off certain way to certain females they didn't like. Um, I made a mess with I had a pellet of soda spill all over the place. Someone had cleaned it up. I tried to work around it. I didn't clean it up because they were picky about 12-hour clock. You work 12 hours. Anything over, they get picky
Right. Yeah.
because I wasn't the right fit for that.
Yeah.
So right now I'm still trying to find something that works
Okay.
because I need to get my house fixed. I need to, still gotta take. I got 3 kids. I take care of. I have a nephew that lives with
Yeah.
me. So I got people that depend
And,
on me.
and where are you located? Just so I can't remember.
I'm in Ohio.
Ohio? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, are there any veteran organizations out that way that could help?
Once in a while, there's the food pantry that does for the veterans.
Mm-hmm.
If because I can sometimes my electric bill gets high as can be. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like $300-400 a month high because this
Mm-hmm.
house is not sealed off.
Oh yeah.
My electric bill one year has got high as $1,000 when the winter went bad because it
No
had base
kidding.
heaters and those all took a crap, so I had to get small heaters.
Mm. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to do the best I can with what I got.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the medicine, which is good, and I'm not as angry or have as much night terrors and crap like that.
Yeah.
But you know, I mean, I'm surviving.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
shit, I even turned to what you doing comedy. I end up, my kids give me shit for it because I embarrass them, literally. Um, I picked up Elmo doll, like the Tickle Me Elmo, and I made like, what's up, say Tickle Me Elmo? Yeah. I even picked up a Barbie. I was like, I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. My wife now just walks away from me. My kids do the same thing. Like I don't know them. They don't like to be embarrassed. I don't care. Um, I do it as an escape because my anxiety goes crazy when I go to the stores with all the
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
So many
Yeah.
things that could happen, the crowds, all that shit. Um, Sometimes I do it on jobs, and some jobs are like, well, you're acting unprofessional. We don't like that. What the
Mm-hmm.
fuck? But it's not like I gotta go and explain myself why I act this way. Yes, it's unprofessional, but it saves me from wanting to probably lash out or say something ridiculous that would be stupid. No, it would get me
Yeah.
fired. But
Mm-hmm.
hell, I walked in a place barking, who let the dogs out? Well, woof woof. Yeah, they said you were acting. I was acting unprofessional on one job.
No
I was
kidding.
trying to have fun. Damn it! I drank energy drink. I was hyper. Day was almost over. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I'll look around, see if there's any organization in that area that I know of that could help you or what have you. There's got to be something out there.
Yeah, some of them's like, well, because my spending, it's because a lot of my bills are kind of high. I mean, I have
Yeah.
cable, I got internet. I like to have my escape. There'd be some days that's why I figured trucking would work because I can be by myself. Minimum people to deal with and
Mm-hmm.
just drive. It's just a matter of just I have to learn more to be more careful with the truck. That's all.
Yeah. 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 Right on.
So,
Wow.
I
Well,
mean,
hey man, it's good hearing your story and hearing everything
yeah, it's
that you went through. So
yeah, like life's like, and that's the thing. People, I've been asking my wife, what kind of plans you have? It's hard to have plans because sometimes things don't. Well, a lot of times things don't go the way you want them to go.
yeah,
So
true.
I just
Yeah,
try to
very
put one
true.
foot forward and try to live the best I can. Because I learned a couple years ago when the guys I served with, I personally knew, I haven't really knew him since. He took his own life because of stress.
Mm, yeah,
And it sucked because I thought he had a great job. I thought he was doing great with his job. I mean, I believe he was in the Pentagon and everything. I thought that was like amazing, but he was a black male. He got shit for that too.
yeah,
But as far as I knew, he was a great guy. He had a great life.
yeah.
It's
And
just,
that's a tough thing, and with veterans, especially, what is it, 22 a day is what all the statistics are saying. It's quite a bit.
yeah, it's crazy to understand, but I got too many people depend on me. Yeah, the easy way out, but what does that solve? That doesn't, I mean, it just puts more pressure and more
Yeah,
stuff on people that depend on me.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, man,
You know?
I always ask everybody toward the end of a podcast, I always ask them, is there any words of wisdom or anything that you want to leave the listeners with? Is there anything you'd like to leave everybody with today?
Only thing I can think of is just never give up and don't stop, believing in hope. Things will just get better. Sometimes it doesn't hurt to ask.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that
I
was good,
mean,
man. Very cool. Well, hey,
I
man, I
appreciate
appreciate,
time, interesting sharing the story.
yeah, I appreciate you coming on and doing it. And don't leave me yet. I'm gonna do my outro, but we'll talk here in just a second. Is that good?
Okay, that's fine.
All right, cool. Hey, to all the listeners out there, if you're struggling and need some help, anything like that, don't forget the VA does have some great resources. You can always dial 988, press option 1. You can always text 838-255, or you can go to veteranscrisisline.net and click on the chat icon. Any of those options will put you in contact with somebody that can help you out. But remember, one veteran life lost is one too many. I care about you. I know Shawn cares about you. The whole veteran community cares about you. So please reach out for help. And if you're out there, you're not struggling, reach out to the buddies you serve with and ask them how they're doing. And if you can give them a helping hand, please do so. All right, with that, Shawn, one last time, thank you. I appreciate you. To all the listeners, stay motivated, change your socks.
Ton Tavern, birthplace of the Corps.
We as Marines hold this history close to our hearts. Wouldn't it be spectacular if the establishment was born again? The Ton Legacy Foundation, a nonprofit 501c3, is taking the task and is looking to the Marines to once again save the day. Help the Lost Art podcast in raising funds to help get the Ton built once again only 100 yards from the original establishment in Philadelphia. We are looking for Marines to donate $25 representing the upcoming 250th birthday of the Corps. Spread the message and help establish the Ton, a place for Marine brethren to gather and remember our historic beginning. Go to the Lost Art GoFundMe page and donate today. The Ton Legacy Foundation, reestablishing our birthplace.